we have that one in there here.
Just open it up and then we'll.
Can they hear us?
Jose and our
Oh, okay.
I wanted to
Sure.
see if
Do we have anyone driving over there? Or is it autonomous now?
This is AI?
Is someone driving that over there, or is it autonomous now? I'm so used to getting a thumbs up, but there's no one.
It's AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting ahead of it. Right?
Nothing.
I know, we'll be out of
Good?
jobs.
Good? Ready to go, or? Just give me the thumbs up when you're ready.
no pressure.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go ahead and convene this meeting of the West Valley Water District Board of Directors. It is 6:04 in the PM. We will get started with our roll call of members. Madam Secretary.
Thank you. If a board member would respond with present when their name is called. Director Garcia is absent. Director Hawkins is absent. Director Moore,
Here.
Vice President Jenkins,
Present.
and President Young.
Here.
And we have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice President Jenkins.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And this evening we have Pastor Young from Loveland Church in Rialto. Pastor Young, if you would please lead us in the opening invocation. We
Here.
don't hear you at the moment, Pastor Young, if you're there.
Yes.
Oh, now we hear you.
Good afternoon, good evening to everyone on the Zoom link and to the West Valley Water District Board of Directors and all of God's people. Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and thank you for just covering us and just being with us. We acknowledge you are in control of all things and we can do nothing without you. Father, we pray a special blessing over the West Valley Water District Board and everyone that is assembled on tonight. Father, we invoke your presence in this meeting. Be with us, Father. Superintend over all the issues. Work it all out. Now, God, be with us and lead us and guide us in order to better govern your people. Cover our water all over the Inland Empire. We thank you in advance for what you're getting ready to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Young.
My pleasure.
Okay, we have several items for closed session this evening. Before we go into closed session, we will have a quick public comment period. Did we receive any public participation for closed session items?
No requests were received via email or in person to give public comment on closed session items.
Okay, is there anyone in person or on the Zoom which wishes to address the body regarding the closed session items listed on the agenda? If so, please raise your hand or indicate your desire to speak at this time. All right, seeing none, we will adjourn into closed session. All right, we're back from closed session. Madam Secretary, if you can note that Director Hawkins and Director Garcia are both in attendance.
Noted, thank you.
So we already took care of the opening ceremonies, so we're back from closed session. So we will now have the agenda for us for adoption. Is there any changes, or do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion, Mr. President, I motion that we adopt the agenda.
Okay, I have a first. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Seeing no discussion, go ahead and call the roll.
Thank you. Director Garcia,
Yes.
Director Hawkins,
Yes.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins,
Yes.
and President Young.
Yes.
That passes 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Next, public participation.
Thank you. Members of the public may participate and give public comment in one of four ways: in person at West Valley Water District's Administrative Boardroom at 855 West Baseline Road in Rialto, by filling out a public comment card and submitting it to the board secretary prior to the start of the public comment period, via telephone at 888-475-4499, access code 840-293-7790, or via Zoom, access code 840-293-7790, or via email to administration@wvwd.org.
Have we received any requests for public participation?
No requests for in-person or via email. I don't know about on Zoom.
All right, if there's anyone on Zoom who would like to address this body, please raise your hand or unmute yourself at this time. Looks like we have Director Hayes. June, floor is yours.
Good evening. Just want to remind everyone who's able to attend during the day that we have our forum coming up this coming Thursday morning. You should have the flyer. It's from 9 to 1. We're going to feed you both breakfast and lunch, so we really encourage your attendance. I know some of you work and can't make it, but otherwise, if you can make it, that would be great. Please RSVP to Valley District so that we have enough food for everybody. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you, June. I would love to make it, but I got to work. But hopefully you'll have a good turnout for the event. Anybody else wishing to address the body? Okay, seeing no one else, we'll go ahead and close public participation. And that takes us to presentations, Mr. General Manager.
Thank you. We'll start off with the update on Romer.
So, good evening, President Young, members of the board. I have a quick update on the Romer project for you. The design build team has been busy finalizing the 90% designs. We're wrapping those up. We've finished up most of the workshops for the electrical, mechanical, instrumentation, and controls. We have a couple final workshops, cybersecurity being one, and we've had meetings, or a meeting for the 90% design with the Division of Drinking Water. On the site, the 12-inch backwash pipeline is being installed, and delivery of steel pipe, electrical conduits have been laid, wires pulled. The contractor has been coordinating with SCE for the electrical switchboard for the site, with the City of Rialto for the improvements along Riverside Avenue, which include curb, gutter, sidewalk, and some landscaping. Also with the City of Rialto for the fire department, and South Coast Air Quality Management District for the permit for the backup generator, and we've received that. Okay.
There we go.
All right. Small glitch. The effluent pump station, as you can see, is construction. They're clearing the area. They've installed I-beams to hold back the flooring that they're installing.
Mars rover there.
Some other updates, we also have a full-time inspector on site from GHD. The External Affairs Department has put together a roam our customers to view on our website. On our website. So when you go to the website, the customers will get information on the project, benefits, background. We'll be providing a monthly update. They'll also be able to take a look at the time-lapse video. There's some frequently asked questions. And they can go there anytime or contact us if they have any questions. An update on the existing building. We're also looking at how we can marry the two projects together so that the facility looks like one facility. So some painting on the existing building. We're looking to match the stonework from the new building to the existing building. Removal possibly of the roof peak and some screens and some landscaping. On the 3-week look ahead, they'll be finishing the 12-inch backwash pipeline up to the pretreatment, excavating for a storm drain on site. More pipe is being delivered, and they'll be doing some forming of the shoring at the effluent pump station. And so with that, I will give you an update. Concludes my report, unless you have any questions.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any questions for Linda?
No.
Looks great, Linda. I can't wait to see the building start to come up. That'll be really exciting. All right. Next up, FDR. Well, I don't know why they said FDR. It should be F. Project update.
Yeah, Joanne has an FBR update.
Thank you, General Manager. Good evening, board presidents and members of the board. West Valley made environmental cleanup history in 2016 for operating the nation's first groundwater treatment plants using biological treatment to treat for portable use. The purpose of the FBL is to clean up the perchlorate plume in the region and be able to use wells that have been offline due to perchlorate. Perchlorate is a mammoth chemical that affects the functions of the thyroid glands, which regulates metabolism. This map shows the area of the perchlorate plume, the area between the red dotted lines. We assist our partner to clean the bottom half of the plume, and another party with of Rialto cleans the top half of the plume. The little tiny small squares are the monitoring wells, mostly within the plume to track the hydraulic movement and concentrations of perchlorate. So the district received approval from the grant agency this month that we can discontinue use of the FBL without penalties. If we want to repurpose the FBL in the future, we will need to get approval from the grant agency. To know how we got here, we have to travel back to the beginning. It started in 1998 when we first discovered perchlorate in groundwater. We took a few wells offline. In 2005, we installed an ion exchange on wells that have low levels of perchlorate, levels closer to the regulated limits of 6 micrograms per liter. FBL began operation in 2016. Unlike ion exchange, FBL can treat high levels of perchlorate than ion exchange. Levels near 200 micrograms per liter. That's over 30 times the regulated limit. The cleanup plan approved by the EPA is that the FBL will continue operations until late 2026. That's when we will switch to the headquarters ion exchange to continue with the cleanup efforts. Also in 2026, a new well at the top of the plume will begin operation to be treated at the Rialto High School ion exchange system. This map shows key facilities. The orange arrow points to the IX at headquarters on Cactus, which will take the place of the FBL in about 3 years. The red arrow points to Rialto Well 6. As part of the regional cleanup project, the district is leasing the well from the city of Rialto. The district partnered with Rialto in 2009 to go after grants, not only to construct the FBL, but also to install pipelines to bring water from Rialto Well 6 to the FBL plant. We did receive a list of grants. The district and Rialto paid the remaining cost. In accordance with our agreement, facilities on their property. The district owns project facilities on our property. The FBL cost $22.7 million. This is the man behind the FBL, Todd Webster with Enviogen. Enviogen designed and constructed the FBL plant. Nowadays, an FBL will cost about $12 million. Using GAC, granular activated carbon, as media for housing the microorganisms. Native microorganisms in water grow on the surface of the GAC media inside the FBL reactor. The GAC media are fluidized in the water, not like a fixed bed of filter media. We feed the microorganisms food, acetic acid, so they will live. We feed them vitamin, phosphoric acid, so they will be strong to carry out the chemical reactions, breaking down the perchlorate into carbon dioxide water and also nitrate into nitrogen gas. FBL has more operational challenges than ion exchange, odor in the water and in the air, leading to a lot of customer complaints. Trident filter under drink failure. Staff spotted a sinkhole in the filter media bag. If you look at the yellow arrow, that's pointing at the sinkhole. Coating failure in the Trident filter box. Had to sandblast and recoat the filter box. Problems with the online perchlorate analyzer. Corrosions in the air pipe. Reduced air towards clarifiers and backwash filters. Regrowth of microorganisms throughout the plant. That means we need to add more chlorine to control the regrowth more than the woman plant. So treatment costs from our 3 different treatment systems at the district. Headquarters is the most expensive site. FBL is the most expensive at $800 per acre foot. And Romer is at 181 acre foot. And ion exchange is 103. Wells without treatment, no treatment cost. The wells consists of treatment plus bring the water to the treatment system for treatment. The FBL costs $800 per acre foot plus the operating cost of the well to well 6, bringing the total to $950 per acre foot. Next is Momer. Treating our portion of the Fee Lido Creek water is $181 per acre foot. Treatment plus stay water totals to $309. Treatment plus stay water portion from IUUA totals to about $1,000 per acre foot. Iron exchange plus the associated wells totals to $250 per acre foot. Well without treatment totals to $150. Even though it has no treatment, we still need to pay for power, chemicals, staff time, and operating costs of the wellhead facilities. We share the FBL information with divisions of drinking water so DDW can share with others. Although we are moving away from the FBL plan, the FBL is a successful project. And the key to the success is
Teamwork.
Hurry up.
staff, especially the FBL team,
Wait, what is
who are
What's Joe
passionate.
eating?
what is Joe eating?
Gopher. He caught it himself in his backyard. So they're passionate and very relentless. And with that, to conclude my report, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just not even so much a question, but just so the public can kind of understand. So, one of the reasons we're looking to now move forward with the decommissioning is that we have essentially brought the the levels of the perchlorate down to a level to where treatment with the ion exchange is more practical. So can you just maybe explain for anyone who might be listening at home what level we were at when we started and where we're seeing levels today?
So when we first started, the highest we've seen is 200 micrograms per liter of perchlorate, and the regulated level is 6 micrograms per liter. Ion exchanges can't treat that high. That would mean we might have to regenerate or replace the resin daily or more than daily. So FBL truly was the right technology. But right now, the perchlorate has dropped to about 48 micrograms per liter. We hope it will continue to drop. We still have 3 years to go.
Mm-hmm. So we went from over 200 down to 48.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want anyone who's watching or watches this later to understand that while I think we all thought this project would last a long time, but it really has achieved what we all thought it would take maybe decades to do, but is done it in quite a few less years than what we initially thought. And that's why we're looking to move forward with now in the coming years working towards decommissioning the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So does anyone have any questions for Joanne? Yeah, thank you, Joanne. Thank you to your team and all the great hard work that everyone's done on this project. I mean, it truly has been a fantastic success. So thank you. All right. Presentation number 3.
Right. Next up is Socorro.
Sorry. Good evening, President Young, Vice President Jenkins, members of the board. This evening, I want to present on the Conservation Regulation Framework update. And I'll kind of give an update of what the legislation is, the framework, and where we're at now. And it's called the Making Conservation in California Way of Life. In 2018, the California legislature enacted 2 bills, Assembly Bill 1668 and Senate Bill 606, to establish new regulations for long-term improvements in water use efficiency. These 2 bills require urban water suppliers to implement permanent water use reporting to meet agency-wide targets that will be enforceable in the long term. And these objectives apply to water suppliers, not individuals, so not our customers. Good? Okay. So 3 components of making conservation a California way of life is the water use objectives that the agencies will have to meet, commercial, industrial, institutional CII performance measures, and annual reporting. and the first compliance will start January 1st, 2024. So throughout my presentation, I'll go more in depth of what each one is. So calculating urban water use objectives equals the standard, which is includes residential plus outdoor plus real water loss plus residential landscape and CI dedicated irrigation meters. There's also a component of variance. So if there's farmland, they'll add that. Potable reuse water bonus. And we have recycle, and that would equal the water use objective. So each water provider has a unique water objective that we have to meet. The indoor standard. So it's defined right now, the indoor standard with objective of indoor usage will have to reduce by 2020, 55 gallons per capita, 2025 to 47, 2030 to 42. So those numbers are measured by the year, the population, times the 365 days a year, and then that will equal our residential indoor budget. Then there's the water loss standard. And that standard is system specific to our standard connections times a year equals our water loss budget. Then there's the residential outdoor standard, and that's a little more complicated. That is our landscape efficiency factor times our reference of evapotranspiration minus our effective precipitation times our landscape area times gallons, which is 0.62 equals our residential outdoor budget. And so the budget is composed of, in 2020, 0.080 down to 0.63 down to 0.55. Certain landscape areas are measured at 1.0, and new construction is already measured at 0.55. So landscape area measurements were developed using aerial imagery by the DWR for water agencies collected in 2016. And then there's also irrigated landscape, not irrigated landscape. So it's more technical and complicated in that sense. We also have the CI dedicated irrigation meter. So this is commercial, industrial, and institutional accounts. And we have that have to be separated into two different regulations. One is standard-based meters, and one is performance based. So exclusive meters will be for outdoor usage, and then we have indoor exclusive meters. So with that, right now, the commercial, industrial, and institutional meters, the DW is currently working on measuring those with a landscape area measurement. And by 2028, it will be up to the suppliers to calculate their outdoor water budgets for those accounts with direct meters. And so, as you see, that's how we get our water use objectives: residential plus outdoor plus real water loss, residential landscape, and CI dedicated meters. So with those numbers, they were released. This is kind of what IUA showed that the numbers would be. We would have to show a reduction of 16% by 2025 to meet with the objectives, 30% by 2030, and then 2035 by 33%. And these are underestimated numbers. Very comparable to East Valley and City of San Bernardino and Colton. And in this region, numbers on the west side are a little they're impactful, but not as impactful as I can say our area is. And these numbers are pulled with the water use objective exploration tool that DWR has released. As you see on there, all those numbers I mentioned before, these are the numbers they use from our electronic annual reporting ER system portal. To meet the urban water use efficiency objectives, they are a little late on releasing the regulations, but there will be different levels of implementation and how we'll be notified as an agency by the state board. So we have the information orders. If we don't meet those, then we have written notices. Then there's a conservation order, and then civil liability. So I don't know if, back in when the legislation was enacted, there if suppliers don't meet the demand, it was $1,000 fine per day and $10,000 when we're in a drought. And then conservation orders, what it means is DWR would refer technical assistance, requirements for education, outreach to customers, requirements for local enforcement, and other efforts to help urban suppliers meet our urban water use sufficiency order. And the state board is prohibited from using any notice of order when both of the following are met. When suppliers do not meet urban water use sufficiency solely because the volume of water loss exceeds supplier's water loss standard, and the state board is taking enforcement actions against the supplier for not meeting the water loss standard. So again, that's one of the three components, the water use objective. Now to the next one, which is the commercial, industrial, institutional, CI performance measures. So with that as well, West Valley Water District will have to identify all disclosable buildings in supplier service area over 50,000 square feet by 2025, January 1st, 2025. So we also have to ban the irrigation of non-functional turf on commercial institutional landscapes. And that's still being regulated by the state how we're going to be doing that. And then we also we will have to do, actually, I'll go to the next slide. So as identify the disclosable building and service areas by 2025, ban integration of non-functional turf. So I mentioned that. So then we will also have to categorize all our commercial customers by different categories of Energy Star. And what the proposal is that we'll have to, by 2026, 20% of our accounts will have to classify them, 60% by 2028, and then 100% of accounts by 2030. There's also the component of, for our larger landscapes, we have to, if they don't over 500 gallons per year, we'll install dedicated meters or implement in lieu technology. And this, again, is done progressively through different 20%, 60%, and 100%. And then if we'll also have to impose best management practices according to the timeline. So outreach, incentives like rebates, landscape collaboration, coordination with these high users and other operational budgets and so on. And again, the last part of it is the annual reporting. So starting January 1st, 2024 and every year after, there will be an annual reporting requirement for the State Water Board. That includes the water use objective, urban water use, documentation, implementation of CI performance measures, and description of progress made towards meeting the urban water use objective. So overview, like I mentioned, the formal rulemaking, the preliminary rulemaking for making conservation of California a way of life was initiated by the State Water Board on August 18th. And there will be a workshop on October 4th, and a written comment letters due by noon October 17th. So here's kind of like the timeline. So the rulemaking on the 18th, the public workshop, there will be a second comment period, adoption, submission to AOL, and then rulemaking becomes effective. So some of the concerns that agencies have expressed is that overreach it goes beyond SB 606 and AB 1668, and it requires very complex, burdensome, unverifiable variances and temporary provisions. Applications highly are technical. They have expanded implementation requirements and impose additional costs, may not be reflective of efficiency and difficulty to verify the standards. And there's also, if the state board has the staff to verify the reports. Being cost prohibitive to impact agencies to meet saving reductions, and just the cost of implementing these new regulations to our customers to meet the urban water use efficiency standards. And then identifying our commercial, industrial, our CAIs are going to be reporting requirements and costly. And then some metrics are not, they might change, like our new development, the WELOs, they can change administratively, so those numbers are not set. So what is West Valley Water District doing? We are currently reviewing the draft regulations that were released on the 18th. Participating in daily AQUA, so our Association of California Water Agency Water Use Sufficiency meetings. Every day we have different meetings, whether they're indoor, outdoor, variances. There are technical groups on that. And then we're also working with other retail agencies in our area to identify common difficulties. We're also assessing the benefits of joining a letter of support with AQUA and IUA, and internally working on possibly a draft letter and participating in the October 4th State Water Board workshop. On the dais, I did supply 2 handouts. So the handouts a little much less technical than I just presented. This sums up the regulation. And then also a call to action from AQUA. They were asking their suppliers to show up either call or show up in Sacramento. I know some boards are having may a board representative be up there kind of advocating for the agency, just how the expected reduction is going to impact our agency, the costs, the challenges, impacts to our disadvantaged community, and unintended impacts. So that concludes my presentation. We'll keep the board updated as this regulation goes, as we continue to analyze the regulations and work with our other agencies. But are there any other questions you may have?
I'll just first say thank you, Socorro, for that presentation, and just wanted to make a comment just for the public. These are one of many reasons why we push the conservation efforts that we do, and thank you to Socorro and her team. If you run into them out in the public, they'll probably try to give you a grab bag of goodies to go home and install to help us meet some of these goals that are being handed down to us by Sacramento. So I just wanted to stress that to the public that, while we do our best to make sure that we have enough water supply to meet the needs, we're also getting simultaneously hit with legislation from Sacramento that is requiring us to meet regardless of whether we have water or not to spare. So please help us do our part. I would encourage you again to visit our external affairs team when they're out in the public or at community events, or please come to some of our landscaping workshops and other activities here at the district, because these are all things which we do to provide you as our ratepayers ways to help us meet some of these mandated targets. So I just wanted to put a little shameless plug there for you and your team. But with that, does anyone have any questions on the presentation? Comments?
Very well done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Socorro. Appreciate all the hard work of you and your team. All right. So that's it for presentations. So now we have a consent calendar before us. We have 4 items this evening, all legal. Any questions, comments, or can we get a motion?
I'll motion to approve the consent calendar.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second. With that, no discussion. Let's call the roll.
Thank you. Director Garcia?
Yes.
Director Hawkins?
Yes.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Vice President Jenkins?
Yes.
And President Young?
Yes.
That passes 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, we have one business item for this evening, a kind of a update on our strategic plan.
Thank you. Yeah, the staff report here really summarizes the status of the strategic plan process at this time. We started about a year ago. We worked with Greg Larson, the facilitator. There were some meetings and a workshop that were completed at the end of last year. There were some delays in getting the draft report done. We finally got the draft report in late May. And as I reported at the last meeting, Greg Larson is out of the country. He is January. I did have some discussion with Greg and to see if he had some ideas on how to complete the process. As we discussed last time, it's really the board's interest that we restart this process as soon as possible and complete the strategic plan and really begin implementing that as soon as possible. But I talked to Greg. He didn't really have, wasn't going to come back, didn't see that as being other associates in mind to bring forward to finish the plan. So I did reach out to WSC, Water System Consultants, which you're likely aware of this consulting agency. I talked to them about providing assistance to us. And actually, I just got this earlier today, so I don't expect you to have read it, but it shows some of the qualifications and some of the experience that WSC has in strategic planning specifically. And WSC has worked with us in the past on our recycled water strategic plan, and they're doing a lot of other work for other area water agencies. And they're also, these include new strategic plans for Valley Water And also, right now, they're working with East Valley on their strategic plan. So at WSC, I've been speaking with Amy Stevens, and she has a bit of a resume in the back, but they do have the qualifications, the experience, the capacity, the interest, and the ability to step in, get this completed, and meet our schedule. So very fortunate for that. And I think this work includes some meetings, a board workshop, and then completing the plan over the next 2 months. And as I stated in the staff report, I'm looking at probably 40 to 60 hours. So I think we can certainly get this completed for less than $10,000. I do need to work out the details with Amy and there might be other services on the back end that we could consider, but I think first things first, let's get this about those later perhaps. So in terms of board direction tonight, you can authorize me to negotiate a contract with WSC and to facilitate the completion of the strategic plan. But with that, I'll open it up to thoughts and comments from the board.
Okay, and just to clarify, this would fall within your authority, so you're just simply
sir.
looking for
Right.
direction.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, so essentially here we are. It looks like we kind of need to maybe
Here we
restart
are.
with someone else, and so the
Here we
general manager is
are.
recommending WSC. Yeah, and I do remember working with them previously, but what's the board's thoughts? Are we good with that recommendation from the general manager? I mean, I know I'm anxious to get this concluded. We've been delayed quite a bit on this and would like to get it wrapped up, but yeah, here we are.
I feel that John's done his due diligence, and I trust his opinion on this.
Well, and I will also add, John, that I know at the last meeting there was questions about the contract. Can you maybe inform the board as far as what was still left on the contract that we could hold to? Or not hold to, as it turned out?
It looks like basically what was left on the contract is to basically meet with the board on the draft and provide a finished document at a board meeting.
Yeah, but there was no remaining thing that we could hold to, correct?
Well, there's still money left in the contract.
Oh, okay.
Well,
as
there
well.
was unspent money left on the
Yeah.
contract,
Oh, okay.
but there was nothing that we could use to compel Mr. Larson to return to the country.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
I think
All
he said
that I
I'm
believe
good.
you had
He
was
said I'm good.
all
Yeah.
that I believe you had was this letter.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because I know it came up
Yeah.
at the last meeting
like,
that we were kind of stuck.
But I guess the benefit is he's not holding money for which he hasn't done services.
Correct. Yeah, he has completed services for what we paid him, but he is not obligated to continue the relationship if he chooses to stay where he's at.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
So, okay. So is everybody, any concerns or comments or okay with the general manager's plan on moving forward? Yeah? Okay, it looks like the board's behind you, John, so let's get this restarted then.
Sounds good. I'll get with WSC. We'll get this going and get a workshop on your calendar soon.
Great. Yeah, and Elvia will reach out to all of us because I know that we're getting into the holidays. We would like to try to get this wrapped up before the end of the year. So definitely let work with her request as far as any times that you might be out of town. We will probably be trying. I would assume trying to probably do kind of like we did last time, maybe like a Friday, Saturday, or something like that. But definitely, board, take a look at your calendars or any upcoming family commitments as we get closer to the holidays so that we can identify those to kind of aid us in finding the best possible time to do this.
Could I ask, is there some preference by the board on day of the week or time of day?
Yeah, the week. Oh.
Day of the week or time of day?
Oh, okay. Not during the.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Saturdays.
Yeah, I think, probably the weekend for
Yeah.
a lot of us who work.
Okay.
I mean,
Sounds like a
possibly
Saturday.
a Friday for me, but most likely Saturday, Sunday is preferable just because of my work schedule. But I don't know, Kelvin, you have any thoughts? Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So weekend for sure, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We'll go with that.
all right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, John. Appreciate you following up on that for us.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Meeting attendance reports. Angie, you have any meetings you need to?
Yes, I want to report, my attendance to the Long Ground Fiesta at the Heritage, God, I can't say, Hispanic Heritage Month. It was at the Miller Park Amphitheater in Fontana. A lot of great activities, and that's it for now. But I do want to talk about a future event that I would like to I would like us to participate in. Is this a time to talk about it?
Participate or attend?
Attend as a group.
Oh, as a group? Sure, you can do
Okay.
it briefly. Yeah.
So, I would like, there's a Southern California Water Coalition that is scheduled for the annual meeting and dinner that is scheduled for November 2nd, which is on a regularly scheduled board meeting. Just wanted to bring it up as a potential discussion, whether we can maybe attend that in lieu of having a board meeting.
Well, I think.
You can't discuss it.
Yeah, well, that
It's
we
just-
would
it's
have to
ju-
have a separate.
Can't
Exactly.
discuss it right
So I'm
now.
just bringing it up as it would be
Okay.
something to maybe
For a
put-
future meeting.
future
Well,
discussion.
Well, what we can do is, John, let's agendize a discussion maybe for our next meeting to discuss it properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll, as we did recently with the well, we'll add it to the agenda for the board to discuss. And then at that point, part of that discussion can be who's gonna go, if you're gonna go, if you want to rearrange the board meeting schedule.
Yes.
October 5th, the next meeting.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Sure. No problem. Okay. Dan?
Yes, last weekend I attended the well event over down at the border. Really interesting seeing our waste management on how our federal agencies conduct business and treat our water and our estuaries. And we were also joined by some counterpart from Mexico that shared with us on how the lack of treatment's going down there. So it's very, very interesting. And that's probably my biggest event this month.
Kelvin, anything you need to report? In
Yeah.
attendance?
Let's see. We attended the Rialto Dog Expo on Saturday. That was pretty cool. Also went to the community garden and got to see that. That's pretty fascinating as well. And barbecue days over in Fontana. I like to see more of our presence out there. But yeah, it was good to see that. And also the ASB, special district meeting on Monday. How's that?
Channing?
Well, it's just been a busy month. I don't have anything particular to report
Okay.
this month.
All right, and I think outside of the usual schedule A and B things, I didn't really have anything off the schedule to report as far as attendance this period.
Oh, I did attend the virtual town hall yesterday online. The water keeper is very informative. Went to the Fontana Chamber meeting, lunch. That one was good. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been great.
All right, okay, so that takes care of our attendance reports. Any board members or reports that they would like to make? Anything, gentlemen?
No?
All right, well, in the interest of time, it's already been late enough, so thank you everybody for being here. So we'll move on to the general manager report.
I thought you were gonna drop the
I
hammer.
had you all figured
I get
out
it.
there, didn't I?
All right.
No, I mean we're going down the line here. We're going down the line.
Eggs are cooling. Butter's getting hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an extensive presentation. Stand by. Okay, thank you. Just got a couple updates on staffing and recruitments, and then I'll talk about some external meetings. Let's do that. So staffing and recruitment updates, associate engineer remains open until filled, but we do have one interview set for October 4th. Senior engineer starting October 9th. Lead water system operator starting September 25th. Making some headway. Customer service representative 3. We had 9 applicants that were interviewed yesterday, and we selected Tessa, who is one of our internal candidates, already working up front and doing a great job. So congratulations, Tessa. So, and that'll probably go live next week. We'll keep it going.
If I could just say just a big congratulations to Tessa.
Yes.
I can remember when she started here as just a temp, and so it's fantastic to see her continuing to grow in this organization.
Nice. Executive assistant, we have 32 applicants that have scheduled themselves for a skills test on October 9th, and then we'll make interview selections shortly thereafter. So let's go, Elvia, right? Let's get that one filled. We've been waiting a while. Assistant general manager, posting closes September 29th. We have over 70 applications at this point. So a lot of interest there. GIS intern position is now posting. That's a 1,000-hour per fiscal year position. We're reaching out to our local colleges and universities and also posting on our social media. So existing vacancies at government and legislative affairs analyst and community affairs representative. We're going to bring recommended changes to the department and job descriptions forward to the External Affairs Committee next week. And then the vacancy at finance director, we've talked about this a little bit. We're going to bring recommended changes to the job title, the job description, and reporting structure to the finance committee next week. We already discussed this at HR committee. So that's the end of my recruitment update. So finally, I'll just update the board on meetings attended since our last board meeting. They include Heather Dyer and staff from West Valley, Fontana Chamber of Commerce, and I met with some folks at Cal Poly talking about GIS and engineering internships, participating in their career fair, and other opportunities to collaborate. And Cal Poly graduates more civil engineers, I believe, than anyone else in the country. So we want them to know about West Valley. We're going to do that. And I just remembered Rialto Petapalooza. Went to that with Leroy. Looking ahead, planning to attend the State of the County next Wednesday. We also have meetings coming up with Valley Water, and June we're going to go to that forum on climate change and building a resilient water supply. I think a couple board members may join me as well. I've got IEUA coming up and a quarterly GM meeting with over 20 GMs from our region, so really looking forward to that meeting. And also we're working with IE Works and IEUA to schedule an upcoming planning session. So that's all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. All right. Legal.
Yes, Mr. President. Also, to keep it brief, I will only mention that Elvia placed on the dais the 2023 updated version of the handouts that I had given you previously as a new client, and now this is the updated version for this year. Okay. So hopefully those will be helpful to you. The board did meet in closed session under 54956.9, under 54957.6, and 54956.9, and there was no reportable action. That was the end of the closed sessions. And I will keep till next time my next episode on best practices.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. If there's nothing else, All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.